Something we touched on in the Thanos discussion is that Loki's not great right now. Loki's not great right now. Loki's not great. My bad. You may have heard me mention why I think Loki is a little bit lacking as of late, and this boils down to mostly the Thanos matchup no longer being a free roll and the Black Knight matchup being pretty awkward as well. What I discovered when playing this list is that while that is true, and the deck is significantly worse than it was before the nerf that removed the collector, there are so few other options for someone who wants to play a normal game of Marvel Snap in the current metagame. And what I mean by that is both Thanos and Black Knight, in my opinion, the two strongest decks in the game, are not really playing what you would reasonably describe as fair or balanced Marvel Snap. Both of them are based around putting approximately 40 power on the final turn of the game onto the board, whether that be through one gigantic blob or through multiple units, an Ebony Blade and a Ghost Rider perhaps. That sort of doesn't really matter to me. I just don't like playing that way. And so when I went to look for something that didn't have to play that way, that wasn't a Lockjaw high roll deck or a Black Knight high roll deck, I was like, all right, look, I know it's probably bad, but I know it's been good before. Let's play some Loki. A buddy of mine named Otion, aka Love Me, aka Ali, posted this list. It was a couple cards off, maybe one card off. I picked it up, I played it, and I couldn't stop winning. So I am here to give you the bad news that, yeah, Loki is back, but this time he's the good guy. This is Darth Vader coming back to the light at the moment of his death. That's what's happening right here. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So Loki is at a nadir, don't get me wrong. But if you like playing what I would describe as fair Marvel Snap, this is the best I've got for you. Because everything else that's doing stuff that's quote unquote fair ends up getting blanked by these decks that just go too tall for you to reasonably deal with. It doesn't matter if you're sending over a -10 void if they play a 40 power blob. Hopefully, they'll be able to change that card. Hopefully, they'll be able to deal with some of the other stuff in the metagame that is awkward. But for now, I really do think Loki's the good guy. Quinjet is still a pretty key part of your plan as a Loki deck. While you are much worse into Thanos than other versions of the Thanos deck, so you are worse against Lockjaw because you can't use it very well. You are worse when you get their blob because you can't use it very well. The stuff that you can use out of their deck tends to be stuff that really wants to be Quinjetted in addition to Loki'd. And what I mean by that is like you want like a final turn that's like Magneto plus Shang-Chi or two really strong 5-drops. And that's only really possible when you have the Quinjet. And because Thanos is still everywhere, Quinjet becomes still an important piece of this deck. It's also important in other matchups where your Quinjet style game plan with Agent Coulson is kind of an actual thing that you're going to be trying to do. Because you are at core in this list a mid-range list when you don't draw Loki, a lot of the way you win these other games is by doing the Moon Knight strategy of random bullshit go. And that means that you use your random card generators, you use your Legion, you use your Vision. The stuff people don't expect out of this deck is how you're going to try to scam out games where you aren't playing the card Loki. That's the basic ethos here, is when you're not playing Loki, you're just going to get them somehow, and how you'll get them usually involves the card Quinjet and Coulson. Look at this amazing Snowguard split without a gold or ink background. What a crime. So Snowguard is a strong card in this list for multiple reasons. Additional location control fits with your scam them out of the games you don't draw Loki plan. It's good with Quinjet, it's good with Loki, of course, and it's just a very solid 1-drop in general. One thing that is a little bit awkward, though, is if you don't have a 2-drop and you have a Coulson in hand, sometimes you can't play this guy on 1. I don't know why I said this guy, this girl on 1, because she'll fill up your hand too much for you to play Coulson on 3, and that is one of the issues that led to me making the changes that I did in this deck, including Mirage in the list, so that I had something to play on 2 in those scenarios that would make me feel less bad about skipping this lady on 1. I think generally speaking, one of the things I missed the most about the other Loki lists is just being able to play this card and then an actual 2-drop that didn't put stuff in my hand and then Coulson. And we do lose that with the loss of Collector. and that loss is felt significantly. Mirage is my search for a 2-drop that I don't hate curving out with. I think she is far from required here. I think really what you're going to want to be looking for in this spot is just a card that you are comfortable playing out. I thought about playing Silk. I thought about playing Jeff. I thought about playing Sentinel. I eventually landed on Mirage just so I had a little bit more information about what my opponent was doing and maybe some extra points while I could get them. I've always been someone who enjoyed Mirage in these kind of mid-rangey decks a lot more than other people. Like, I would play her in decks that weren't Loki. So this is definitely a card you could consider being a flex spot. When I picked up this list, Quake was in here, but I felt that it was just too much of a tech card that I would want to play late, and I would much rather just have a card I'm comfortable playing on turn 2. That ended up being Mirage. If you have any better ideas for this slot, I am absolutely all ears. We play Coulson and 3 4-drops, so Zabu is another addition to the way we can discount our cards. This is a great card in this list, being able to do things like curve out Zabu into Miss Marvel, into something like Snowguard Loki is one of our strongest early starts. That is a great game plan to take, but even just sometimes playing anything early can be very good. The discount with the Coulson card can be very good. Stacking the Coulson discount with a Quinjet discount can be very good. You see where this is going. Sometimes your opponents have 4-cost cards that this guy can discount to. Zabu is just great here, and we love playing him on turn 2. We don't feel any pressure to hold him, and I find that to be pretty compelling in a deck like this that needs to be doing things, getting cards out of the hand so that it can put cards back in. As a tech slot, I found the main competition for Rogue to be something along the lines of Mobius M. Mobius, but I like having Rogue in here. It gives me like these theoretical outs to Black Knight where I can go like Rogue Shang on an Ebony Blade on the final turn of the game. It's not, ever very likely to happen, but I like just having the answer to some of the things that I'm seeing in the deck. And I don't feel entirely safe going without ongoing protection in this metagame. There is a lot less Miss Marvel, but that's not none. The Thanos decks are still playing things like Devil Dinosaur, and even in the worst case scenario, stealing a Soul Stone is actually usually a pretty decent point swing in that lane. I think that Rogue is pretty okay right now, but as a tech card, you should consider yourself free to swap cards in and out of her spot. Agent Coulson is phenomenal. He is the glue to this deck. He glues your multiple plans together. He glues your random bullshit mid-range scam plan with your Loki plan. He's good in both plans, and he has this same quality in common with Quinjet. He's good. You should play him. I don't really even know what to say other than you should play him. He's very obviously good in this deck, and the only reason he was ever out of it was because we had so many other efficient early game threats to do in this deck, and now we have absolutely none of those cards. They are all dead. Angela's dead, Collector's dead, Werewolf is dead, Elsa's dead. They're all gone, so we're a Coulson deck now. Speaking of cards that have displaced scaling threats, there's a part of me that's like, oh, we should run Bishop, but the thing about Bishop in this deck is he's just a lot smaller than Gladiator is, and Gladiator as a 3/8, yes, I get it. You'll pull some bad stuff out of Thanos some of the time. I totally understand that. But on the contrary, have you considered that this is a 3/8? And that is ridiculous. Like, in the absence of things that are getting to like 317 RIP to Werewolf, 210 RIP to Collector, and Angela while you're at it, this is one of the strongest cost to power cards in the entire game. It is not a guaranteed loss, even if you hit something big, but most of the time I play this guy, I actually don't hit anything big. I love playing a 3/8 on turn 3. That's so awesome. This is a really strong card right now, even in a meta that's very bad for it, which is very interesting when you consider how many metas may develop that are actually good for it. Don't cut Shangers, Bobangers from your decks for any reason ever. Like, this is the most played card post-Infinite in the entire game. There's a very good reason for it. It's because there's a lot of big stuff running around. And while it is awkward that some of that big stuff is immune to this guy for various reasons, such as Kyera or the text on Ebony Blade, it's unlikely that everything you're going to face is going to be immune to him forever. Even in those Kyera decks, there are Devil Dinosaurs out there, or they don't draw Kyera. Even in those Ebony Blade decks, sometimes they are Ghost Ridering the Infinite, or they don't have Kyera. Like, this is a very straightforward thing. Shang is still phenomenal, and he should still be in this deck. Now, part of the reason he should still be in this deck is because this is not a deck that has the power to win on its own without those tech cards in the games that you don't draw Loki. You are a very normal deck when you are not Lokiing, and that means you need to fall back on a mid-range Shang Legion style game plan that frankly went out the window for this archetype in like the early days once we realized how good the early scalers were, but now is kind of the option we have left. I know everyone's mad at Blob, but I honestly think Miss Marvel is still probably the second best card in the game. It's also a card that is uniquely good against Thanos Blob still because of the way it attacks all three lanes and because of how limited Blob can be in terms of how it deals with its final turns of the game. However, you have some notable weaknesses to Magneto, and sometimes those lanes involve a Lockjaw and a Blob, and they just get too big for this card to even matter. So I do think she's being overlooked a little bit right now, with good reason, but I still think she's a phenomenal card. Definitely a card that belongs in this deck. A card that does a lot of heavy lifting in this deck, actually, in my opinion, because of just being a great statted card, the same way that Gladiator does. You are not the kind of deck that can straight up Loki people and just use your collector synergy in their cards 100% of the time anymore. You need to be able to win games when you don't do that, or win games when he's like maybe only happening on the final turn, and having great cards to play that lead up to him is a good thing to do. All right, so let's get down to it. Without the collector working with this guy, we are not the overpowering threat that we used to be. I do not think this is the best deck in the game. I think it is a deck that allows me to play my preferred playstyle of mid-rangey stuff while not instantly losing to these decks that dump 40 power on the final turn of the game. That's all I was really looking for out of this list. My success with it, I was a little bit surprised by. I still am surprised by. We'll see if it continues. But right now, I have been very successful with this list. I don't know if maybe that's just because I'm used to playing Loki. It's like in my bones at this point. I'm probably better at Loki than most people. Maybe it's that. I don't know. But right now, I think this is an actually playable list, at least for me. And I think most importantly, it lets me play the kind of Marvel Snap that I like. The kind of Marvel Snap that is more card game than betting game. And part of the reason why I truly dislike playing Thanos Lockjaw, especially Thanos Lockjaw Mirrors, is that they cross like this invisible threshold in my mind where they become more betting game than card game because of the vast variance involved in 18 card decks, who gets the cards that matter, Lockjaw, Blob, Stones, and who doesn't. And I think that while there is a great degree of skill expression in those mirrors, I don't want to downplay that at all. This is not me saying those mirrors are unskilled. I think a lot of the skill expression is knowing when to snap based on your good hands and accepting that sometimes they will also have the good hand and you will die. And I think that is more pronounced in those mirrors than it is anywhere else in Marvel Snap. All mirrors are like that to some degree. I think the degree is a little high with Thanos stuff. And I just want to play something that lets me like play a card that isn't a Lockjaw deck, that isn't a Black Knight deck. I just want to play cards on curve, and Loki lets me do that. I'm sorry. Absolutely zero people expect the Legion scam. He's so good right now. I'm actually sad I'm making this video because it means everyone I play against will now expect the Legion scam. It makes me so sad. Like, this guy is great. He's just great. He's a phenomenal card who can get you free wins in those games where you don't have Loki. And in the games where you do have Loki, okay, you're getting rid of him. That's fine. I'm a big Legion fan. I really am. I know people are going to talk about Quake. That's actually one of the cards that I cut. I think that's something that I was also wrong on. Quake doesn't go here because she's a turn 6 card, and this deck obviously wants to be playing the card Loki. So she's not really good here, and you want 2 drops that you want to actually play on turn 2. So then I never felt good having Quake then. So we end up with Legion as the dominant lane location control card alongside the Snow Guard, which gives us more or less unparalleled location control. And that gives you, as the player of this deck, a way to really, skill diff people. This is a deck where you'll have to do that. I talk about scams, but it's not really scams. It's using the pieces you have the best way. And this sort of location control will enable you to get those wins out of unexpected spots, which is very valuable. I am very unsure on Vision. I would consider this the other flex spot. I really just want out of this card something else that has some beef to it. And Vision makes a lot of sense here because of the way Miss Marvel works, and because Vision has this quality where it's like, in these games where they are going to blob you, having a vision and making them think twice about it is actually pretty useful, I think. Being able to move this guy around, and I guess the way I could phrase it is like, there's a lot of 50-50s that happen, and Vision lets you turn them into not 50-50s. And I think that's good. It also makes your opponent think more about those 50-50s. And I think that's good too. That said, I would consider this card incredibly replaceable. Like, if you wanted to play Dino here, I think you totally could. I'm just sort of sick of getting Shang-Chi'd and rogued and stuff like that, but if you wanted this to be a Dino, I totally understand. I totally understand someone looking at this and being like, what the hell is Vision doing in here? And I can't honestly tell you that I'm positive he's the best thing to be playing here. There's a lot of 4 and 5s that I'm kind of interested in playing, but he keeps being just good enough to prevent me from cutting him, so there you go. All right. Thank you so much for making it this far in the video and not turning it off the second you realized it was yet another KM Loki video. I really appreciate it. We're going to jump into some gameplay with the deck so you can see how I played it. I feel like I actually played it pretty aggressively, and that's another thing when I talk about like how this is sort of a comfort deck for me, and so that means it might be a little bit more built for me than for anyone else. I get that. This is definitely a deck I'm very comfortable piloting, comfortable doing things with, and I think that that does play into it, but hopefully you can learn something from the gameplay and see how I approach these situations. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe. I have been KM Best. You have been phenomenal. I will see you in the next one. Believed to be true. But also, we got them. Exactly. You got to think about the value. I'm just playing shit. Fuck me, dude. I'm gonna try it. Is Quake good? We'll see. Come on, Miss Marvel. Yes! Goated. God level. I'm the best. Don't give a fuck. Chat, do you see what I'm cooking up here, by the way? Do you see what's happening? We need a 1-drop? No. We just... Next turn. I don't think we're vaulting it. There are 2 3-drops in the middle. I think I'll be fine, but I'm not positive. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so I guess I just win the middle then. Yeah, fuck it. This is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be so sick. Like, come on. How do we ever lose here? How do we ever lose here? Maybe we can lose here. I don't know. Let's find out. That one doesn't matter. Hell yeah. Cook. Oh my god. We did it. You're saying it's bad Sarah. Woody, consider the following. Maybe it's good Sarah. No, it's bad. I liked his other deck more. Maybe I'll play some Thanos Loki. Everyone will love that, right? Yeah, I don't want to get into a blob measuring contest with anybody, really. I'm very small. But especially with Thanos. Especially with the god. You know what I mean? I'm not about that life. This is Black Knight, so the reason I'm not snapping is because Loki's not very good in this matchup. I'm making a read. I don't know if it's a good read, but I'm making it regardless. Oh, they snapped me. Fuck's sake. That doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. I read it wrong. I read it entirely wrong. Wait! I'm a genius! Oh! Yes! I read it entirely right, baby. I'm a god. I shanged middle because I figured that would be where they would Ghost Rider if I were them, right? I opened for him. I don't remember. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Elysium. Oh my god. I can't believe this. Nebula. That's illegal. Loki meta? I fucking doubt it. I don't think Quake does anything this game based on the first two locations, so I'm just going to use her as a 2-5. Holy shit! He's going to kill anything. Uh-huh. All right, I will admit that is not the thing I expected to happen here. Electra Pogu. Electra's pretty sick here, yeah. Wow, that's a lot of cards. Okay. Okay. Okay, we got him. We got him. I think T7 favors the deck not. All right, let's make sure it's fucking actually recorded properly. Double check that record. Yeah, we are then grinding. Okay, we're good. Yeah, we are then grinding. I like a vision. I like a vision. I like this deck. I got it from Ali Otion, or whatever the fuck his name is. Kyera Jubilee. This is Living Tribunal. Okay, well, we instantly lost the game thanks to... Wait, we can get a rogue, right? We have a rogue in our deck. We can rogue the Kyera, and then, we can rogue the Kyera, then Shang. Okay, now it's a 50-50 on the rogue, and we'll have to see how that goes. Check their blob to see what's in hand. That's a great point. Scar, Red Skull, Taskmaster, Infinite. Wait, how do they win another lane? Without any of those cards, how do they win another lane? Yeah, we have Coulson into Ench. We have a bunch of shit. Tribunal? We don't even know if this is the Tribunal deck, though. Like, we saw the Taskmaster stuff, right? This doesn't look like the Tribunal deck. It looks like the fucking other one. Jubilee feels Tribunal to me. I don't not buy that. It's just like... They have one card in hand, right? So, like, is it Living Tribunal, right? It's literally just, is that one card in their hand Living Tribunal? And if not, how do we get bigger than that? All right, let's say it is Living Tribunal. 65 plus 9, 65 plus 18. It's about 80. 65 plus 18 is 83. Over 3 is about, what, 25, 26, 27? I don't think we can beat it if they have it. Let's find out. Holy shit. Yeah, we got him. Chat, you doubted. You fucking doubted. I told you it wasn't fucking Tribunal. I told you it was not Tribunal. It was never Tribunal. In the fucking Taskmaster ass motherfucker deck? No way. Let me keep playing. Let me live. Waiting for the mute all button? For real. Legion keeps making me think that Legion is like way better than Quake still. I'm pretty tempted to agree. I don't know. I mean, I gotta imagine this one's the game, right? I might be low-key braining a little bit, but gotta imagine this is like they haven't played a lot of stones. I don't know. This feels dramatically unfair. I also got their Mobius, which is very funny. Mm-hmm. So we go this. We go this. I'm surprised you didn't try and discount Scar more. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get, like, I got some down and then, like, baited a Shang, basically, was my hope. Boom! Holy shit, chat. Fucking boom, dude. Okay, that's annoying. Does he still lose? I don't even know. I feel like he has so much energy. You can just Shang that? It could move, is the issue. It could fucking move. It moving is a legitimate issue. Oh, wait, I have two Shangs. Is this real? I don't know. Maybe I die. Oh my god, it goes to 3! I hate this fucking interaction so much, dude. Oh my fucking god. That's so goddamn annoying. It would have actually, he played enough cards. Okay, hold on. Gets one, then one more? Now he cannot draw any cards and he dies. Whoo! That was so fucking close. I'm gonna mute him, but he's right. It was a good game. I'm good. SK, again, the issue is we don't want to be over-invested in tech. They nerfed Collector? They sure did. Yeah, our issue is we would rather not be over-invested in tech cards. We want to avoid that if I will happily Loki for 5 on turn 3 in a mirror. I think that's probably pretty good. I think that's probably pretty good. Holy shit, Storm. That's just like in your deck? That's crazy. That's fucking nuts. All right. Loki Storm is kind of cool though. It is kind of cool. I just would never want to be the person doing it. You know what I mean? I don't ever want to be the person doing that. Seems tough. God damn, that's insane for them. Holy shit. That's crazy. They're on a 50%er in the potential of rogue here. They can absolutely get my rogue in vision. It's very good for them. Part of me wants to throw the goose in the middle just to be like, haha, it doesn't work. Like, part of me is seriously considering just making this an even less 1 out of 3. But if I'm doing that, it's probably like this. Yeah, I don't know. Enjoy the 50-50, I suppose. Oh! Owned! It's not even a 50-50! Oh my god, the pain. Imagine the pain they're feeling right now. To be fair, even if they hit one of the marbles, it doesn't flip this lane and we still win the middle. World building, and I just really hated reading every chapter with Elaine in it. Which is not her fault. She was a fine character. Just like, he didn't give her fucking anything to do. I don't know what's happening. I would like all of your cards, please. What the hell would possess them to snap me here? Blue Marvel into Onslaught. Oh, that's disgusting. Well, I'm taking one of them. Please, Blue Marvel. Boom! Gross! Alright, I feel like I probably have to win this one. Gonna be 100% real with you guys. I do not know how I could possibly fucking lose this from here. Gross. Disgusting. Heinous. Oh. Oh. Even if I miss on that, if it hits the onslaught, I'm still winning the game here. Like, there is just nothing. There is just nothing. You win without the rogue top deck? I don't want to do the math on it. I think the answer is plausibly. I think the answer is plausibly, but I'm not positive.